First of all, thank you for agreeing to do the interview. Let's start off with the situation itself.
Well, I do have my wife suffering from Alzheimer, and I had it for 3 years at home. I'm alone, it was only my wife and myself, and there came a moment I couldn't cope with her anymore. So I took her to hospital, and she was sent to the King George Mental Hospital. When I went that evening to see my wife there, and I saw what was wrong, where she was, I couldn't sleep that night. The following morning, I brought her out from the King George, and I took her back to hospital. And after an argument, eventually they accepted my wife as an Alzheimer patient at the St. Bernard's Hospital. Since then, she has been for 3.5 years at the Victoria ward, sitting on a chair without any movement. And now, obviously, she became what I would say a human vegetable. And now, I started on my own, and eventually I managed to, people gathered around me, and we have formed the Alzheimer and Dementia Awareness Group. And mind you, although I'm the vice chairman of the association, I'm speaking here as an individual, and speaking here only on behalf of my wife, what I've been trying to do with my wife. I had we received information from various parts of the Alzheimer institutes all over the world that the Alzheimer patient with mental physiotherapy and physical exercise, they can slow down the development of the illness by 60 to 80%, medically proved. I went to speak to the health authority, but nothing has happened. The only thing they do with the Alzheimer patient is sit them there on a chair and wait for whatever fate asks for them. So I decided then to take my wife to a private clinic where she's been given physiotherapy treatment, and from being paralyzed, where she couldn't move her legs, her arms, or her head, now she can move her arms, she can raise her legs, and also been taken to the hyperbaric oxygen system, and after, I would say, 9 treatments of oxygen, my wife started to talk again. My wife, sometimes she's lucid. My wife sometimes remembers things, something which for the past 3 years she didn't ever did. So I hope that the mental authority will come to a conclusion that all these treatments are a need for these patients. They are not animals, they are not criminals. You cannot have a patient sitting on a chair for years and years without any movement and with a tin of sour cream on the night table. So I've been taking my wife to all this treatment, and I can say I've seen a vast improvement in my wife.
And are there other kind of treatments you're hoping to get involved with? Are there other kinds of treatments you're trying to?
Well, I've been giving my wife what information, based on the information I get from Alzheimer's Internationals, and it's working on my wife. Now, why the health authority don't want to administer this sort of treatment to this patient, I don't know.
And do you think there's been a big enough response from the health authority to? No.
The only thing is that now they're promising they're opening a ward for Alzheimer patients in the Old Naval Hospital, but who knows when? Because if it's the same as with the airport, we still got to wait.
And can you tell us about some of the experiences you've had with trying to keep your wife in hospital and trying to get her the ambulance that she needs?
I've tried also. I got to carry my wife. I got to lift her from the wheelchair onto the car, and then from the car to the wheelchair to take her to treatment. I've requested the health authority if they could take my wife in an ambulance and then collect her back every time I take her to a treatment. And The answer I received has been negative, that they cannot do so. So now it's my intention to see if I want to speak with a new ambulance to see if they can assist me.
And you do this all by yourself at the
I
moment?
don't know myself.
Lifting her into the car?
Yeah, everything.
Everything. And how much does it cost you a week to pay for all these treatments that you are?
I take her twice a week for the oxygen. My intention is that if financially I can become, I've got to sacrifice myself in other things to give her the full treatment. But right now I'm taking her twice a week, which is cost me £30 per treatment of oxygen. That's £60 a week. And I also take her to the college clinic for physiotherapy twice a week, which cost me £40 per visit. So there I've got 80, I've got about £140 expenses a week.
And you've been in constant correspondence with the Minister for Health and certain other authorities?
Yes, I have a letter from the physiotherapy. I requested, actually I got it here with me. I've got here a letter dated from the 14th of April this year, and from the physiotherapy department, which says, diagnosis Alzheimer. You came to see me with regards to the physiotherapy for your wife Rosario. I have had the opportunity to speak to the senior physiotherapy on Victoria Ward, your request for your wife to receive intensive rehabilitation, as she had, as you explained, on admission been able to walk. Thirdly, I'm advised that given the degree of dementia, your wife would be not suitable, unable to participate in any rehabilitation program. I would advise that you speak with a consultant or board doctor to discuss her medical condition and how she can best be helped at this time. So sorry we are unable to assist you. Should you require to speak to me again, can be contacted in the physiotherapy department. Kind regards, Caroline Binet, physiotherapy service manager. Well, I took my wife to the college clinic and I saw there a physiotherapy by the name of Jorge Espada. And I told him straight forward, look, see how she is. If you think that it's a waste of time, I just pay you now and off I go. And he looked at her and he says, no, we can improve her physically. And she couldn't move her arm, her head, her legs. And in 5-6 treatments, my wife even on occasion stands up. She moves her head, she can place her head, her hands behind her head. My wife physically has improved. I don't know why the physiotherapy department, unless of course they are short-staffed and they've got too many patients to attend, and they decided that after all, if they got dementia or they got Alzheimer, what's the use? That's the only reason I can think of.